I remember when I was in school, there were a lot of algebra problems that I wasn't able to get. And then I would ask teachers, why am I getting this question wrong? And then they would say, oh, you do this, sure. But then they would never really be able to teach me why it is that I kept getting the question wrong to begin with. My goal for this video is to teach you why that's happening and to show you how to get the question right. Welcome to JuanTutors. The goal of this channel is to get you the highest grade possible on the ACT so that you can get the college of your choice and the career you deserve. But to do that, we need to be able to solve some of the basic equations. Now, I know that we have 3 equations here, and this goes from easy to kind of medium to very hard. And I want you to think about really how to solve these equations, not just the how, but what the why. That's the trick to understanding and how to get past that point that you keep getting stuck at. You see, if you know how to solve this equation, that would mean you probably know how to solve this equation, which would mean you probably know how to solve this equation. So if you think you know how to solve this equation, then you better be ready to tell me why. What do we do first? Pause the video, try it on your own, see if you get the right answer, and also make sure you know why, and also make sure you show every step. All right, so I'm going to continue. Here's what I get from a lot of students. I get, well, obviously W equals 14 because, 14 plus 3 equals 17, and that's false, right? So that's not it. So W equals 8 because 8 plus 3 equals 11, and that's correct. That's not an algebraic solution to the question. And it's not going to help you here much, and it's definitely not going to help you here because good luck with guessing this answer. So the key to this question is you have to know what to do next and why. What do we do first? So this is an addition of 3, and I need to know that the inverse of addition is subtraction. So I subtract 3, and I show this step. I don't skip right in this step. I don't just write W equals 8. I write this step, and I get W equals 8. And of course, I get my answer. Cool. So if you remember what to do here, then this problem goes from being medium to being only slightly harder than this. The key is you have to remember the inverse operation. So try this problem focusing on inverse operations and focusing on writing every single step of the problem, all right? Cool, so I'm going to continue. The thing to know about this is that there's 2 operations performed on B. The first is that the problem is multiplying by 3, and then the problem is subtracting 4. And that's all that's being done to V. The key to this is that when you're inverting operations, perform inverse operations in the inverse order that they were performed. They say 2 wrongs don't make a right, but in math, 2 opposites almost always cancel each other out. So we have to know what operations were performed on V and in what order. The first operation performed on V was this multiplication by 3. The second operation performed on V is a subtraction by 4. So we have to invert that in the inverse order. The last operation was the subtraction by 4. So we have to invert that by adding 4. And that's the first thing we have to do. 3V equals, negative 16 plus 4. So this is materially new to you based on what we just did here. So this is the advice that I give you. Here's a 0, here's a negative 16. We're adding 4, so we go in this direction, plus 4, and you get negative 12. Now, you don't have to draw this every single time, but you do have to keep the number line in your mind. You do have to mentally draw it every single time. Negative 12, divide by 3, because that dividing by 3 is the inverse of multiplying by 3, and that's the only operation left to undo. And I get V equals negative 4. I hope you know by now that a negative divided by a positive is negative. I'm going to check down here. I hope you know that a negative times a positive is negative, so negative 12 minus 4 equals negative 16. Negative 12 minus 4 is negative 16. The same deal with the number line. Here's a 0. Here's negative 12. Pop this way. Cool. Believe it or not, if you know how to do everything you did here, you have almost every single tool that you need to do this problem. Now, I want you to pause this video in a second, but with the hint that I'm going to give you, make sure to do only things that you know to be correct, and then see if you get the same answer that we do. Look over here. how do you get rid of the parentheses? That's the hint that I'm going to give you. The thing that makes this problem different from previous problems is, well, now there's multiple operations. 2, there's parentheses, which means that we're going to have to perform some sort of operation, perhaps a distributive property or a division, to get rid of the parentheses. And the third thing is that there is a variable on both sides of the equal sign, which means that we have to perform an operation to combine these values of u eventually. The first thing that I do is I get rid of the parentheses by performing the distributive property. Okay. Now I'll tell you this right now. A lot of students say 10u plus 1, and this is just minus wrong. 1 either way is wrong. That's just wrong. All they did was multiply the 2 and the 5. That's just totally wrong. Okay. You have to perform the distributive property correctly, and 10u minus 2, not minus 1, 10 minus 2 equals 3u minus 23. And now this is where another place where a lot of students get stuck. There's a u on the left side of the equal sign and the right side of the equal sign, and now we need to somehow combine them. They're not on the same side of the equal sign, so I need to perform an operation to eliminate one of them. And that means that I'm actually going to go back to what we just talked about here. I see that this is a positive 3u. I can eliminate it by subtracting 3u. Am I allowed to do that? Absolutely. Does it make the problem simpler? Absolutely. So the first question that I asked is if it's legal, and the answer is yes, and that's largely all that matters. The second step you ask is if it simplified the problem, and it does. So 7u minus 2 equals negative 23. 0 minus 23 is negative 23, and now I need to get rid of this minus 2 and this multiplication by 7. This is the first operation done. This is the second operation done. So this is the first one we undo. Perform inverse operations in the inverse order that they were performed. Plus 2, plus 2. And again, the number line, negative 23. I know that I'm hopping that way, plus 2. So from negative 23, I get to negative 21. And I get 7u here. And now the only operation left to perform is division by 7. So I'll do that times 7. And I get u equals negative 3. So that's our answer. And now you're a little bit smarter and you're a little bit more ready for the test. If you're ready to go on to the next videos, just click on one of the videos on the left, and I'm going to go ahead and check the answer, and then I'll see you in the next video.